Welcome again to P. Sam's Tinctures and Edibles Emporium. Today we're going to be making another syrup. This time we'll be making a little different kind of syrup. We'll be using RSO and we'll be using a combination of gums, xanthan gum and acacia gum, a blend of those for our emulsion. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I need to make a simple syrup. I'm going to make an invert simple syrup. I'm not going to infuse it just yet. I'm just going to go ahead and make it. To do that, I'm going to make a quantity, and then I'll be able to use it for various other things if I wish. I'm going to try and make a 16 ounces. I think I got the ingredients right. As far as the amount I need, it's what I used on the last syrup. So I'm just using those same measurements. Anyway, so to do that, I'm going to pour my sugar in my beaker, and then, if I can find it, I should have some distilled water around here somewhere. Where the heck did that thing go? Where'd it? So 1 cup of distilled water going in our sugar. Then I'm going to add to this. This is what's going to make it an invert sugar. It will help prevent it from crystallizing, make it a little thicker, make it a little sweeter, puts it more in the realm of a corn syrup. So anyway, 1/4 teaspoon goes in there. Okay, that there. Stir it up. And then I'm going to put it on my hot plate, which is right over here, which you can't see. And then let it get up to 235 degrees, which is a soft ball stage or a soft crack stage or a soft something stage. Anyway, once it gets up to 235 degrees, then I will be taking it off and using it to make our infused syrup. So that's it for now. I'm going to go ahead and heat this up and get it going. I'll be back. It'll probably take at least an hour or so. Anyway, bye. Okay, our simple invert syrup is finished. This is the first step. I'm going to let it cool down because it's really very hot right now, so I can work with it. Then I'll be back and we'll start on our syrup. I mean our actual infused syrup. So see you in a bit. All right, our simple syrup is finished. Our plain old simple syrup. It's not been infused or anything. And as you can see, I have it right here. We got 14 ounces out of it. Now, I'm not going to make all of this into our infused syrup today. I only want to use about half of it because I've only got 1 gram of RSO. And so if I were to use the whole 14 ounces, it wouldn't give it a very, it would be very strong. It's going to be about 600, I believe about 650 milligrams approximately, and about a 65% percentage on the RSO, I believe, and could be more, but it's not any less. It's dispensary RSO, and so I'm going to take half of it. I want to make. I'm going to take 8 ounces of it, 1 cup, and I'm going to use that 1 cup for our syrup today. So I'm going to pour the other into my honey jar, and then divvy the rest up. I'm going to need to weigh my syrup, and then because we'll we'll need that to figure the amount of gum that we'll be using at the end. So I'm going to divide this up and I'll be back. Okay, I've got the syrup divided up into the two portions that we're going to use. Now what we're going to do here is I've left most of the syrup in the beaker there, and I'm going to add our RSO. It has been dissolved in about 5 milliliters of alcohol, and we're going to infuse that into that beaker of syrup. And what we'll do is I'll add that to it, and then I'll put it in that pot of water there as soon as it boils, and don't have to wait for it to boil, but anyway, I'll be putting it in that water, and we'll be letting the alcohol evaporate out. And then once that's finished, we'll be bringing that out. And in the meantime, I'll be using this cup here, and I'll be adding my gums to it. I'm using a blend of xanthan and acacia gum. It's a proprietary blend from Modernist Pantry. I'm sorry, and it's a combination of acacia and xanthan gum. Like I said, you can make the mix yourself, or you can do this with just xanthan. But this is the way you do it. You add your gum mix, whether it's xanthan or the blend, to a small amount of your syrup, and then we'll go ahead and blend that in and have it ready for when the infused is ready to go. And then we mix the two, and we'll use the immersion blender to whip it all up. And so for now, I'm going to go ahead and reduce this alcohol in the syrup, get everything ready, and I'll be back before I do the gums, before I add the gums, and we'll whip it all up. Anyway, be back. Okay, this is what we're going to be doing with the RSO. Pour it in there, just like that. And then we'll put it in the hot water and let it evaporate off. So I'll be back. Okay, our infusion is finished. And as you can see, this is what we normally get when we use RSO or Green Dragon, any full extract. It doesn't blend in, and it just kind of sits there. It doesn't look really good. It doesn't work real well either. So what we need to do is to get that emulsified within that syrup. We need to get it so that it does work. So I'm going to let this cool, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the gums over here to the other bit of syrup that has not been infused. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back. Okay, now we're going to add our gums, which it looks like I need to scoot back a little bit more for this. Right here in this cup, here is our gum. It's called 210S, combination of acacia and xanthan gums. Now I'm going to be the directions say to use anywhere from 0.05 to 1%. I'm sorry, that's not right. From 0.5% to 1%. So I'm using 0.75% today. I just picked it out of the air, because I'm not making a lot. So we'll just see how it goes. So anyway, I'm going to use my immersion blender, and it hasn't been working really well lately, so it may not work at all. and I'm going to pour it, put it in my my cup here, and I'm gonna blend it all up. I'm gonna add this a little at a time, and maybe we'll get to see what it's like. See, I won't be able to talk. It'll make a lot of noise. A little bit at a time. Picking it up like this. Don't know whether you can see what's happening there. Whoops. Wanted to do that a little easier. So let me try and get the rest of it up here. Okay, and there it is. So that's all dissolved in there, ready to go into our other syrup. And by golly, that's what we're going to do now. We're going to pour this one into this one and pray. We'll see whether it works. Well, hey, got nothing to lose, I guess. So, bear with me a moment here. Take this out. See, our goal is to get all this stuff on the side here all mixed in. So, let me scrape it out. If I can. Kind of hard to do with stuff dripping all over the place, but okay. Okay, there we go. Now, and of course, it's not going to work. Yeah. It'll take a few minutes for me to play with it. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if we can do it. Here we go. So we're getting all the stuff up off the that one, but it looks like we got it done in time. Okay, here's our syrup. It's a slurry. I know it doesn't look that, it looks white, right? But this will mix into things. This is a syrup. You can see it's not going to separate. You've got all the stuff off the sides. Well, it looks like I need to mix it down here a little better once so I'll quit bragging for the time being and hope that my blender starts working again here. I'll be back. Well, my immersion blender seems to have given out, but this is our syrup. As you can see, it will stay like that. It will stay in suspension. You don't see anything separating out. I'll be back later to show you how to use it. We'll mix it into things and how to go. You keep this slurry and you mix it in with your drinks. So that's right now I'm kind of frustrated because of my darn immersion blender. So I'm not able to explain it real well. But I'll be back and finish it out. Bye. Okay, we're back here with our syrup. We left off when my immersion blender gave out on me, and I don't think I really got it very well mixed up. That's been 2 days ago now. It's just been sitting in my cabinet. I was just looking to see whether it held up or not. As you can see, it looks like it's not quite settled. I mean, not quite mixed up. I may have to do it again. I went out and I got a new immersion blender. So I am going to need to take this out of this jar. I'm going to put it in that cup over there so that I can give it a good blend, and then we'll see what we can do with it. So I'm going to pause this for just a moment while I get my blender plugged in. I thought I already had it, but I didn't. So I shall return shortly. Okay, here it is. Not real pretty like this. Still needs to be stirred. Came out of there looking kind of ugly. So let's give it a whirl. I'm going to do this. You're not going to be able to hear me, so I won't try to talk. How's that? Okay, there we are. There's our syrup. Looks a lot better now. Let me get my spatula here. Sorry, my shoulder doesn't work real well. Let me wipe this off as much as I can. It's really thick and sticky. You know, I could probably have used a little bit less sugar in my syrup. I should have made it probably 1.5 cups of sugar instead of 2. Stuff like that. But that looks pretty good right now. Pull this up. Take this out, set it there, and let it drip on my pad. Okay, so this is our syrup. See it? It's a slurry. You add this to other things. Like this is made, I have 8 ounces here. I used 65%, I think, RSO. It might have been more. It wasn't less. It was dispensary RSO. But, and I have 8 ounces, so that's going to give me approximately 80 milligrams per ounce. Now I'm going to go ahead and fix up an ounce of this, and I'm going to make some Kool-Aid and pour an ounce in it and drink it up. I want to see how it blends in with the Kool-Aid. I'm pretty sure it's not going to make a clear Kool-Aid like the glycerin syrup did. But then I think a little later along the line, I'm going to make a single serve chocolate syrup that I can put over some ice cream. That will be a dose. Also, this is a lot of good things with this. If it stays, we'll see. You know, we'll give it a few days. Make sure it stays in the emulsion here. But right now it's looking good, except that it's so white for syrup. Anyway, there's other things that we're going to be able to do with other syrups. I'm going to try Torani syrups and various other things along those lines. Anyway, I'm just kind of blathering right now, so I'm going to turn you off for a moment. I'm going to go make my Kool-Aid and come back and we'll see just what gives. Okay, here's what our syrup looks like close up after having just blended it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 ounce of that. I'm going to pour an ounce in this shot glass. I'm going to pour it in that beaker. And then I'm going to take 8 ounces of this orange Kool-Aid and pour it in there, mix it up, and see what it tastes like, what it looks like, and all that sort of thing. So let me get that ready. I'll be back in a moment. Okay, now I'm going to pour an ounce of this syrup into my shot glass. Kind of stringy syrup, isn't it? I'm going to pour it in there. Now remember, this is an emulsion, so it's going to be thick. The glycerin syrup isn't quite the same type of emulsion. I'm not really sure that it really is an emulsion, but nevertheless. Okay, now we've got our syrup in there. I'm going to take my Kool-Aid and put in about 250 milliliters, a little less. I'd make it 1 cup. Okay, there we have it. So let's see what happens to it once we stir it up, if anything. See if we can do that with a spoon, or if necessary, I can use my frother. Seems to be, it's chili water, but it should work. Let me see. This might make it a little easier. That really hurts my arm. But let's change this out. That's almost dissolved, right? See it? It's all dissolved. There's nothing floating around in it. But just to be certain, I'm just going to go ahead and this is easier for me because I got a really bad shoulder and I can hardly put any energy into stirring it all. And that's it. Whoa. Turn it off, Sam. Turn it off. Okay, there it is. Looks pretty good. I'm not going to let it stand to see whether it sits because I want to drink it. I've been looking forward to this all day. For the last 2 or 3 days, really. 2 days. Okay, now this is our RSO syrup. From the spoon, there was absolutely no taste of cannabis at all. Orange Kool-Aid. By golly. Looks pretty good. So I'm really looking forward to making the chocolate syrup and having some chocolate syrup on my ice cream. But anyway, this is about 80 milligrams that I'm devouring here of RSO. And I shall return a little later to give you a review. Bye now.